I'm here to give you an update here on Stella, starting off on the daily, as you can see here, guys, from the all-time high coming through around that 73 cents there. You can see mass levels of resistance along that trend line from that point there, from that high point. Obviously, we saw the May crash coming through there. Now we set lower highs coming through. They're creating a very, very strong, what I would say, a very, very strong horizontal coming through. You can see when we actually hit this point in September that's just gone, mass rejection to the downside. Very bad. But what I would say here from the low point that we did set coming through in May, sort of July sort of area there, obviously the massive dump in May, June. So yeah, the low point that we did set in that downtrend, we have actually formed a very strong, very, very strong trend line to the upside here, all the way back from, I do believe, March. Yeah, I do believe all the way back from March coming through there. Obviously March 2020, guys, Black Swan event, the big COVID event coming through there. And as you can see, mass levels of support being formed from that zone. Really, really good stuff coming through there for Stella. So what I would say, if we are going to actually dump to the downside at all there, we know we've got a very, very congruent bounce point here. And yes, an ascending triangle has been formed. Now we do have this horizontal coming through in terms of resistance. Lovely levels of support coming from there. And that obviously means horizontal chart pattern coming, not horizontal, ascending triangle chart pattern coming through there. In terms of measure move, looking at something along the lines of this, guys, depending on the breakout scenario, could be around a 40% gain there for Stella. Definitely something to be looking out for the future there. And these a lot of altcoin chart patterns are going to be coming into fruition like this when we do see Bitcoin start to run up like crazy, right? So yeah, it's going to be the daily sort of covered there. What I would say, breakout scenario is going to be when we clear this horizontal, and that is going to be around that 42 cents there. So it's definitely something to be looking out for there, guys. In terms of jumping down to the shorter term time frames, to get rid of that, because that's some old TA coming through there. You can see it did play out to the downside there. Pretty good, strong stuff indeed. So yeah, let's do some live TA. Coming through that, I would say trend line coming down, definitely a point to be looking out for there. As you can see, the resistance coming through. So yeah, definitely something to be looking out for there. In terms of a resistance point, in terms of a price target for that, it's going to be around 37 cents, 99 there. Definitely a point to be looking out for. And also we do have a very, very strong horizontal as well, creating a descending triangle chart pattern, guys. Descending triangle chart patterns, they usually tend to break to the downside, but with the state of the markets at the moment, with the state of crypto, it does look like we are going to probably potentially break to the upside there. So in terms of a break to the upside for a measure move potential breakout scenario here, guys, we could be looking at something along the lines of this, and this is lining up pretty well with that horizontal on the daily chart there for a double breakout scenario there. In terms of percentages for this potential trade there, we're around a 13-12% there, so still pretty good stuff indeed. But congruent breakout point I would be looking for is going to be this 38 cents there. That's what I definitely would be looking for coming through, and then obviously staggering the take profits, guys, all the way up, preparing for any sort of reversal chart patterns coming through. And not just going blindly for that 12% there, because you're probably going to get wrecked on the way up, right? And once you hit your first take profit, you move your stop loss to your entry point, and that basically means it's always going to be a successful trade, guys. We use that gridding take profit to minimize stop losses completely. Let's jump down to the hourly chart, because just to summarize here on the hourly, what I would say is symmetrical triangle chart pattern at the top of an uptrend. And let me just draw that in because the chart just spoke to me there. As you can see, guys, trend line to the lower side here. You can see trend line coming down from this high. As you can see there, potential breakout scenario we're currently in the minx of having, right? In the minx of having potential long position, actually, I would be potentially looking for there. Probably not going to be jumping on it on stream. But yeah, we're at the top of an uptrend. Symmetrical triangle at the top of an uptrend, guys, basically means a bullish pennant chart pattern, guys. Bullish pennant chart pattern usually breaks to the upside. Definitely something to be looking out for here in terms of a long position. Correlating very well with that downward sloping resistance line as well there. In terms of percentages here for a little cheeky, tiny scalp there, could be looking at around a 3% gain there. And you know the score, guys. Staggering take profits all the way up. This is definitely going to be a resistance point to be looking out for at 37 cents and 45. But yeah, that is going to be your update there on Stella.